Jon Snow's in rehab. Guess he didn't care for the ending either. Oh, yeah. Well, according to page 6, Kit Harrington checked himself into luxury rehab for stress and alcohol after filming Game of Thrones season 8. Stories by Mara Siegler, Emily Smith, and Sarah Nathan. Let's see what it says. Game of Thrones star Kit Harrington secretly checked into luxury rehab. Yeah, nice secret. For stress and alcohol use ahead of the show's ending, which really hit him hard, multiple sources have exclusively confirmed to page 6. Well, he went in ahead of the show's ending. That's interesting. Exhausted Harrington, 32 years old, who played Jon Snow on the hit HBO series for 8 years, has been at luxury Connecticut Health Street for nearly a month, arriving weeks before the show's finale on May 19th, page 6 has learned. For nearly a month. Weeks before the finale aired on TV. The British actor has been undergoing psychological coaching, practicing mindful meditation, and cognitive behavioral therapy to combat stress and deal with the negative emotions at the facility. Sounds like that's a bunch of code words for it's going to cost a lot of money, which costs over $120,000 a month. His actress, wife Rose Leslie, 32, whom he met on the set of Game of Thrones and played Jon Snow's wildling companion, Ygritte, is being extremely supportive, we're told. Yeah, the two got married. Something about that I like. A friend told page 6 of Harrington the end of Game of Thrones really hit Kit hard. He realized this is it. This is the end. It was something they had all worked so hard on for so many years. He had a moment of what next? He's in a clinic predominantly for stress and exhaustion, and also alcohol. So alcohol is the side note, according to this friend. It's really for stress and exhaustion. You know, the guy just figured he probably needed to dry out, and he probably had a moment of anxiety. You know, he comes off as a really kind of a calm, mild-mannered, good guy. You know, I'd like to see him in a lot more stuff. I really liked his character. And I liked Kit Harrington's portrayal of Jon Snow. Seems like a really talented guy to me. But I could also see how he could be real anxious and nervous type of guy, you know. You know, that kind of guy, you're around him and he's always so, you know, stressed and nervous and he makes you feel like that too. He does strike me as that. His wife Rose is being extremely supportive. Everyone close to him really wanted him to get some rest. Right now, he just needs peace and quiet. A rep for the actor told us Kit has decided to utilize this break in his schedule as an opportunity to spend some time at a wellness retreat to work on some personal issues. After 8 seasons following his character Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen on their separate journeys, then finally as a couple, in the final episode, Game of Thrones fans saw Jon stab Dany, the woman he loves, to death in the heart to save the realm. The episode broke TV records with 19.3 million viewers tuning in. Wow, HBO had a lot of subscriptions because of that Game of Thrones. I wonder how many canceled afterwards. A Game of Thrones behind-the-scenes documentary titled The Last Watch. I didn't see that yet. I gotta watch that. Released at the time of the finale, showed Harrington breaking down in tears and holding his hand to his mouth in horror at the moment he first learned his character would kill Dany. That part I saw on YouTube. The actor became totally choked up during a table read with the entire cast, where the actors were led through the finale script for the first time by show creators Benioff and Weiss. I saw that. It showed me, you know, how emotionally involved the guy is with this show and the character. I mean, how couldn't you be? He spent a good portion of his adult life playing this character on the show. Harrington later said of that emotional moment, I was very shocked and surprised at certain events during a Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon appearance. And then I blubbed my eyes out. I cried. The actor has been allowed the freedom to leave the facility for breaks over the past month, and has been seen by locals in Connecticut heading to a fitness and wellness studio, plus a local bookstore. On the same weekend of the Game of Thrones finale, he was spotted at R.J. Julia Booksellers in the small town of Madison, Connecticut, telling staff he was on holiday in the area, according to local reports. One resident who has repeatedly seen the actor in recent weeks on his trips out of the facility told us, "Kit looks really good and appears to be very focused on his health and wellness. I have personally seen him out in the community many times. I think it's wonderful that he's taken the time to take care of himself. More people should. Yeah, more people can't spend $120,000 a month to dry out." Harrington has been open about his struggle as the show turned him into a huge international star, and admits he sought therapy after learning Jon would kill Daenerys. Wow! He sought therapy after learning his character would kill Daenerys. He recently told Variety his lowest and darkest point came as he became the focus of the show, as Jon was killed and then came back to life. You'd think that's what every actor would want, is to become the focus of the show. "It wasn't a very good time in my life," he said. "I felt I had to feel that I was the most fortunate person in the world, when actually I felt very vulnerable. I had a shaky time in my life around there. Like I think a lot of people do in their 20s. My darkest period was when the show seemed to become so much about Jon when he died and came back," he explained. "I really don't like the focus of the whole show coming onto Jon." When you become the cliffhanger of a TV show, and a TV show probably at the height of its power, the focus on you is effing terrifying. I guess I could see that. That was a time when I started therapy and I started talking to people, he said. I had felt very unsafe and I wasn't talking to anyone. There's probably so much stress being involved in a show like that too. You know, you can't tell anyone about the show and it's all secretive, and I'm sure the hours are super long. You just can see, you know, how taxing it is when you read stories like this on the actors. He also told Esquire in April that he had a full-on breakdown after filming his final scenes for Game of Thrones, and that he felt he was being skinned, taking off his Jon Snow costume. Being skinned? "My final day of shooting, I felt fine. Then I went to do my last shots and started hyperventilating a bit. Then they called rap, and I just effing broke down. It was this onslaught of relief and grief about not being able to do this again." Relief and grief. Interesting. He added, "But the weirdest bit was when we came off set and they started taking the costume off, and it felt like being skinned. I felt like they were unceremoniously, for the last time, ripping off this character." And there they are when they got married, Jon and Ygritte. You know, I could see that kind of stress. You know, he really blew up on this show, and he was a young guy, and I guess the stress and anxiety just got to him of having to shoot the show for 8 seasons. You know, maybe he's just a real sensitive and emotional guy. So, you know, it took a larger toll on him than the others. I did see that footage of the documentary on YouTube of him holding his hands to his mouth and kind of gasping. It was funny that the actress that plays Sansa, I can't remember her name right now, but she looked over at him kind of like she was almost expecting it, you know. She was like, just to kind of see his reaction. So it's probably not too out of character for him. Sophie Turner, I think that's Sansa's name. She kind of looked at him like, you know, to see how he was going to react to that, and she just gave him a look like it was a familiar thing. It was kind of interesting. Also, the Varys reaction in that was real funny. He threw the script down when he found out that he was going to get killed, executed by Daenerys. So, I feel bad for Kit. I liked him. I really liked his portrayal of Jon Snow. Seems like he's a pretty good guy. So I wish him well. I hope he wins the battle with whatever demons he's fighting. and that he comes back and he could be in a lot more stuff. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. I'd like to see what else he could do. He's definitely a good main character, you know. He's got to have more than 2 lines, though. I don't want it. She's my queen. You know, that ain't going to cut it. You know, the guy is talented, though, and I hope we get to see more of him. I apologize for the bad Snow impression. But what do I know? I'm just an old noob. Oh, yeah. Subscribe, share, and like.